Hello, everyone, and welcome to our podcast. And today we are talking about Jose Rizal's life during his university years at the University of Santo Tomas. Rizal is often celebrated as one of our national heroes, but only few knew about his challenges and his awakenings as a young student. From academic struggles to first loves to encountering some injustices and growing nationalism, Rizal's time at the UST let him shape the path that led him to greatness.
So, we're here with an amazing group who will help us unpack this journey. What shaped Rizal, inspired him, and ultimately set him on the path on becoming the first Filipino. So, let's get started and take a closer look on the man behind this legacy. So, to begin with, let's talk about the initial enrollment of Rizal at the UST and what are the some challenges he faced there. So, can you tell us more about that?
Alam niyo ba si Rizal, nag-enroll siya sa UST nung year 1887. Tapos, after completing in Bachelor in Artes sa Ateneo, nung una, di pa siya sure kung anong gusto niyang aralin, kung philosophy ba o letters. Siguro mainly due to the father's decision din or influence din ng father. Pero nung matapos siya nung first year, nagtuloy siya sa medisina dahil may problema sa mata yung nanay niya. Kaya, yun, mabuting bata.
Sang-ayon ako doon. Hindi naging maganda yung experience ni Rizal doon sa UST kung saan marami siyang nakaharap na pagsubok. Ibang-iba yung sistema ng Dominican education system doon sa nakasanayan niya sa Ateneo na kung saan tinutulungan siya ng kanyang mga professor. Sa UST, masyadong mahigpit yung paraan ng pagtuturo doon na kung saan nabubuli siya dahil sa kanyang nationality.
So it sounds like UST wasn't an environment that nurtured Rizal unlike the Ateneo did.
Exactly, tama. Bukod doon, alam niyo yung restrictive system tsaka racial discrimination. Yun talaga yung naka-apekto sa performance ni Rizal, sa academic performance niya. Kahit alam natin na sobrang brilliant niya, talino, pero yung grades niya sa medical, average lang. So parang pinapatunay na ito na gusto niya lang yung medical para matulungan niya lang yung nanay niya. Masasabi natin hindi yun yung true calling niya.
So now, moving on to the Rizal's social life and first encounter with brutality, I've heard that Rizal's time at the UST was also filled with some distractions of youth. So what can you share about that?
Yes, like any young students, Rizal had already shared his social experience and became infatuated with several women including Segunda Katigbak and Leonor Rivera. Within this relationship, along with a busy social life, it definitely took his time and focus.
But aside from romance, Rizal also faced harsh realities, including a traumatic experience with the civil guard. So during summer vacation ni Rizal sa Calamba, nung gabi, nakasalubong niya yung Spanish lieutenant. So gabi nga madilim, hindi niya naaninag yung Spanish lieutenant. So nag-expect yung Spanish lieutenant na babatiin siya ni Rizal. So hindi na siya nag-abala na batiin yung Spanish lieutenant ng Buenas noches. Dahil doon, nainis yung Spanish lieutenant at natake si Rizal sa likod.
So how did Rizal respond to this incident?
Rizal was deeply affected. He even complained with the Gobernador General, but this complaint was ignored since he was a Filipino. So this opened his eyes to the injustices faced by his people and left a lasting impression.
Now, let's dive into the influence of liberal ideas on Rizal and his literary works at the UST. How did this shape his nationalist views?
So Rizal and his peers were heavily influenced by the influx of liberal ideas coming into the Philippines at the time. Thanks to global changes like the opening of Suez Canal, and he and other students began questioning the colonial system, and this pushed Rizal express his views through literature.
He joined competitions to show that Filipinos could also excel in arts. His works include the La Juventud Filipina and the El Consejo de los Dioses, which were very powerful statements of the Filipino pride. So he used these works to prove that Filipinos could equal or even surpass the Spaniards in intellect and creativity.
So his literary achievements were more than just artistic. Are they statements of Filipino capability?
Exactly. Through his writings, Rizal began advocating for the potential and unity of the Filipinos, planting the seeds of nationalism that would grow later.
Now let's look at Rizal's activism at the UST and his decision to eventually leave for Europe. So, can you tell us more about his activism?
At the USD, Rizal displayed a leadership and stood up against discrimination. So he organized a group called
Compañerismo.
Compañerismo, to unite the Filipino students against Spanish and Mestizo students who looked down on them. So itong group na create ni Rizal, nagkaisa,
Nagkaisa sila, yeah.
it builds unity and show that Filipinos could stand together.
But despite his activism, syempre frustrated si Rizal dahil pakiramdam niya limitado lang yung natututunan niya sa UST. So, pag-apak niya ng 4th year in medicine, he decided to go to abroad, specifically in Europe, para hindi lang dahil para makumpleto yung pag-aaral niya or makatapos siya ng pag-aaral, but also to gain knowledge and insight that could help him fight for the Filipinos.
Leaving for Europe was a big step. Was it solely to continue his studies or were there deeper motivations? So there are definitely deeper motivations. Rizal wanted to make a name for himself in the field of journalism, observe European society, and prepare himself to advocate the Filipino liberation from Spanish tyranny. So yung Europe kasi is nag-offer siya ng freedom, complete freedom to think and express himself. That's something he couldn't fully do in the Philippines.
Yes.
Thanks again to all of the guests for sharing their knowledge and insights on Rizal's life at the UST that teaches us not about his life but also to stand for what is right even it is challenging. His struggles and resilience still resonate, remind us the importance of education, identity, and unity.
So as we end this podcast, I would like to encourage each one of you who is listening to reflect on Rizal's courage and ask yourself how you could make a positive impact just as he did. So thank you all for listening and we'll see you next time as we continue exploring the life and legacy of Jose Rizal. Mabuhay ang Pilipinas!